video that was talking about the what is it with the orchestra? What's like what's the guy that
The
like the
Maestro.
yeah, so the maestro, the composer, the composer always has its back to the audience
Oh, you mean the
because
conductor?
the conductor, yeah, the conductor always has its back to the audience and it's focused on the orchestra. If the conductor was
Mm.
to turn and try to appease the audience, it's not working with the orchestra anymore. The orchestra
Right.
wouldn't be able to function. So I think in many ways that's what it means to be a broadcaster. Is you
Mm.
have to turn your back against, not against, but you have to turn your back to the audience and focus on the craft, focus on the message, focus
Wow.
on the orchestra, focus on managing the orchestra.
Right.
Whereas the actors are busy obviously in front of the screen,
Oh.
playing their act in front of the audience. And yeah, sure, initially the audience will be like, wow, this is so amazing, clap it up. But it is only the orchestra with the use it's composer, was that the no I
Conductor.
what's
You
what's
said
the
it's
conductor,
conductor.
conductor, yeah. It it is the conductor with the orchestra that is able to keep the audience in awe.
Yep.
Like, give the audience an experience that they have never felt before.
Right.
It's gonna have them be mesmerized.
Right.
But
Right.
the conductor has to give his back, her back to the audience.
Right.
Always, always. There is
Right.
no ability to turn around until after the whole work of art is finished. Then yeah, you could turn around and bow and thank everyone, and obviously the crowd's going to be going wild because you turned their backs to the thing is the audience does not like that. Initially they
No.
don't like that, but then
No.
after the show continues, they actually respect that. They really actually
Right.
value that because they're like, you have not been trying to convince us. You have not been trying to come after us. And as a result, just psychologically, you must be valuable. Like you must,
Right.
you must like be doing something right. Meanwhile, all these
Right.
other clowns are out here acting, say, "Hey, come join us. Look how cool we are. Look at this.
Right.
Look at that. Special deal. Blah blah blah." Just salesmen out here,
Right.
just fucking selling their shit. Whatever bullshit is going on. Meanwhile, the conductor is just conducting the orchestra. Whether people sit and listen or not, it doesn't fucking matter. Because guess what? The conductor keeps going, eventually it's gonna sound really fucking good. And when it sounds really
Right.
fucking good, guess what? The audience is gonna have to listen. They're
Right.
gonna have to stop and listen.
Right. You can't help it. And it's funny because I was a student director of my choir in high school for 2 years, and I was the first female in the history of that choir like to be the student director. So I know exactly what you're talking about because it's true. Like you cannot look you have to be so focused on what the for me it was a
Mhm.
choir, what the choir is doing and making
Mm.
sure that it sounds the way that it's supposed to sound, that you can't be worried about the audience. The audience doesn't know whether you missed a note or not. The audience
Right.
doesn't know if someone took a breath, but me I knew when people took breaths when they weren't supposed to. And then I had to go back and correct them. Hey, don't breathe there. Like you got to breathe somewhere else. Like it's all really like technical so that the sound, the final product is produced in a certain way that it evokes the emotional response that you're looking for from the audience. So you're worried about the audience, but it's from the perspective of giving them the emotional response that they deserve, as opposed to putting on a show. Because, I mean, as a choir, of course, we put on a show, but it was about evoking a certain emotional response from the audience. And that takes like very serious precision in order to make sure that it happens. And you've got to be paying attention to all the parts because if you stop as a director, if you stop like what they do with the orchestras, what the maestro does is basically they're keeping the tempo. That's what they're doing. They're keeping the tempo and they're making because you're dealing with humans playing instruments, so they're going to get their own feeling on how it should go. So you're making sure this whole big group of people, I mean, this just ties it all together. Like, this is it, you're making sure this whole big group of people stays on the same tempo, singing the same beat. Now, they each have their own different part that they're playing or singing, but they're staying on the same tempo so that the song is a cohesive song and a cohesive work of art. And so when you get to the end and the final note is played or sang and it's over, that's when you can admire your handiwork. But if you stop in the middle of the thing to admire how great the violin sounds, or this drum solo, or this soloist, or whatever, the tempo can get off, and then your piano player, your sopranos are singing on the wrong tempo, people are clapping in the wrong place, and it totally messes up the whole aesthetic of what you're trying to produce. So you literally have to stay focused on the tempo and making sure. And when you hear somebody slowing down, you got my choir director. This man did not play, man. If you was doing something off, he was pointing at you and making the ugliest faces you ever seen, because you got to get that tempo. You cannot get off beat. You cannot miss a note. And if you miss a note, you can't act like it. You got to get back. You didn't know the words to the song. He said, you better say apples and bananas. Your mouth better be moving the whole time. Because if you got one person, especially in a choir, if you have one person who's just standing there like a deer in the headlights, they look crazy. They look crazy, and you cannot let them do that. Like, everybody has to be 1, 2, 3, 4 on beat, on tempo, and moving and